Eric Pateman from Edible Canada. So let me just give a little intro on Eric, who I've known for quite a while. So Eric is the founder and president of Edible Canada. Beginning as Edible Vancouver in 2005, Eric widened his scope with a culinary artisan retail store and expansion to Edible, British Columbia. In 2011, he opened a full-service restaurant, market kitchen, and retail store across from the public market in Granville Island. Please join me in welcoming Eric Pateman.
Excellent. Well, it's a pleasure to be here tonight, and thanks for having me. I've never done anything like this before, so this is first for everything, but I was trying to think of what I would talk about tonight, and for a guy who gets paid to eat and drink, and really that's about it, it's a pretty good gig. But I guess I want you guys to go home with something that you can really take away, where the success of Edible Canada. I mean, we've grown from a one-person company in 2005 to just over 75 employees now in a 5-6 year period, and it's been an amazing growth and amazing run. And when you get to do what you're passionate about, life doesn't get any better. So I think the one thing that I think is the continuous from day one till now that has been important to Edible Canada is surrounding yourself with amazing people. And the group that's here tonight, when I look at Vistador Farms and Organic Lives and Mary from Terra Breads, I mean, these are people that I've known since we started the company, and our success has been their success, and their success has been our success. And I think it's incredibly important to surround yourself with amazing, amazing people. When we started this company, I actually went and traveled the province for 3 months. Decided I didn't know what I was going to do. I went on a road trip and went to go meet people who were doing extraordinary things, and took that information from these people and found these amazing products and people and stories. And it was those stories that really took Edible Canada from this culinary concierge service, which I really started because I wanted a tax write-off for eating out. And I'm really not kidding about that. I was in Paris and I came across a company called Edible Paris that was a culinary concierge service that was started by a woman from Edmonton. And I phoned my accountant from Paris and said, if I start this and set up a website, can I write off every meal? And that's where Edible came from. Had no intention of really doing this, but here we are 6.5 years later, and it's amazing the impact that Edible Canada has grown to have over the last 6 years. We represent over 300 artisan food suppliers. We work with chefs, farmers, artisan beverage manufacturers, everybody from across the country now, and travel around the country and the world promoting the best of what BC, Canada, and Vancouver has to offer. And why wouldn't you want to do that? I think for me, that one of the things that we've really focused on is promoting this through various channels. And again, it's not because I really wanted to do that, it's because I have the attention span of a gnat. And I get bored within about 2 seconds and I need to find something else to keep my attention. So we've gone from retail artisan store to culinary tours with gourmet kayaking trips and farm tours and outing weekends, and you name it, anything that I can sort of think of that I want to do, there's somebody else who's going to pay for it and let me do it for free. It's been amazing. When I look at people like Vistadoro who are here tonight, and Patrick, they've been our staple since day one. It's been one of our best-selling products since the day we opened Edible Canada and Edible Vancouver and Edible BC, whatever we're going to be called next year. We are certainly going out there and going and traveling the world, but it's been those key products and the people behind those products that have allowed us to grow. The staff I've had people who've been with me since day one, and having them and allowing them to grow and be nurtured and be excited about what we're doing and taking their passion and translating it into what we do as a company has been monumental. I mean, I couldn't do this on my own, and it truly has been about surrounding myself with these amazing people. Stephanie Ewan's here tonight, and I still remember starting Edible Canada. I think one of the first things we ever did was the Richmond night market tours, and I remember standing in a parking lot at Home Depot holding up a homemade sign that said Edible Vancouver Tours, going out on these tours, and it's hard to believe that was only 6 years ago doing that, and now we're flying our teams of chefs to Beijing and New York and all around the world to cook and promote Canada. So to be able to become ambassadors for such a great country and a great food scene, and watching Vancouver blossom into this food scene has been incredible. I don't think if we'd started this company in 2003 or 2004, we'd actually be standing here today. because I don't think the city and the market was ready for it. I think we just hit this at the right time with the right amount of energy and passion. And I've watched, I don't know how many people try and enter this market or enter culinary tourism. And they come and they go and they come and they go, and we seem to just keep chugging along. And I truly attribute that to the people that we've got relationships with and the people that work for us. So it's exciting to see. Going forward, we're going to continue to work with companies like the Canadian Tourism Commission, the government agencies, but for me, it's all about finding fun partnerships as well. Right now, we're working on a deal with Fisker. I don't know if you guys have seen these really cool space-age looking cars, 100% electric. Edible Fisker is now going to be the official car of Edible Canada, because we're finding these partnerships and abilities for us to promote other people's brands and other people's inventiveness with our target market and vice versa. And finding these partnerships allows us to really provide a win-win relationship. And I think that's the other key that we're always looking at, whether it's our employees or our partnerships or our retailers or anybody that we're working with. It's how do we benefit them? And if we can benefit them, in turn, it's going to come back and benefit us. And I think that's the one most people miss when they're actually doing these partnerships is it's always about what do I get out of it? And I think we've turned that around and we've looked at it going, well, what do we get out of it? From a staffing perspective, we've done the same thing with our management. All of my key management staff, were 30 and under. And so rather than hiring experience, we've hired for passion. And that passion has paid off immensely. But while we do that, we also have gone out and hired one of the best coaches we could find in Vancouver, and we brought them in to work with our management team to give them those tools and that experience without actually having been through it. So we love to invest in our staff. We love to invest in these partnerships, and I think it's been a really, for me, it's been a very big learning curve, watching how to sort of motivate and get young people and industry people to grow. I have to say I'm incredibly proud of what I've watched Edible Canada become over the last 6 years. 6 years ago, I didn't know anybody in this room. I didn't know anybody in the food scene in Vancouver. I'd been out of cooking for a dozen years. 6 years later, we've managed to become sort of the resource for the best of what the province has to offer, and we're incredibly proud of that. And I think when I look, and just this morning I got an email from China, and turns out it was a customer who I'd taken on a tour 6 years ago, and we had forged this amazing relationship. We've seen each other probably twice a year over the last 6 years, and last night she was in Beijing having dinner with the Canadian ambassador to China. And what comes up in the dinner conversation? It's Edible Canada. And what are we doing, and how do we get into the Chinese market, and how do we be there? And all of a sudden I've got an email from the ambassador this morning saying, when are we going to get together and how are we going to make this happen? So I think the brand of Edible Canada has taken on so much more than just a little 400 square foot retail store at Granville Island. I think it's truly become a global brand, and I think over the next decade I would love to see Edible Canada define what new Canadian cuisine is, and I think that's that's certainly a lofty goal, considering everyone thinks of Canada as salmon, maple syrup, poutine. We like to play on all those things as well, but BC blueberries. But I think Canadian cuisine is so much more of that. It's more than that. It's this melding pot of amazing cultures with that local food scene and really celebrating what the best of Canada is. And I think for us to be able to take that into the international market and actually sell that as a brand, there's nowhere else in the world where everyone in the course of a week will eat sushi, Thai food, Indian food, pizza, French food. It doesn't matter where you go in the world, that's what makes Canada and the West Coast and Vancouver unique. And I think that's the brand that we can go out and sell and get people excited about. And that's what the Canadian Tourism Commission and consuls and all these people around the world are looking to us to sort of lead and showcase around the world. And I'm excited about it. And I think for us to be able to go and do that, it's all about the partnerships with the people and all these amazing people that we've surrounded ourselves with, to be able to take that and showcase Canada to the world. So I appreciate you having me here tonight, and it's a pleasure to share our story, and I look forward to answering your questions later, and thank you again.